Evans or Daniel? You can be there in that. No, that's mine is traditional.
All right, listen up here. First of all, make sure all those phones get put away right now. Keep them away. We will just spend this week reviewing for the final. Now remember, homeworks will count. Like a lot of these, not all of them, but some of them will be double assignments for 20 points, so that will affect that homework grade. But for the exam itself does not affect your 9 weeks grade. Okay, in terms directly. Okay, directly. But your homework will affect your 9 weeks grade. So you guys see where you're at? We'll probably take, me and Mr. Sir probably take one of these days here and kind of go over where you're at, what your grade is, so on and so forth. I handed out a note card. You may use a 3x5 index card. You can write anything you want on there, formulas, and this is an important piece for the exam. If you do a good job on this, it makes it a lot easier, okay, for that. And then kind of as you keep it out, like as we go through things, you can write example problems, formulas, anything you want. So go through there. And we're going to go through a practice exam and do a part of it each day. So what I'm going to do is kind of go through some notes to kind of refresh your memory on certain things. Give yourself an assignment, classwork / homework, depending on how much time we got. But we're going back, not all the way back to the beginning. We're going back just second semester. Okay, just second semester. And kind of see what you remember from some of this. All right, so we're on the guided notes here. And what you see on the exam review, which I'll give you here in a little bit, is what you're going to see on the test. There's going to be no surprises. And we'll give down the breakdown of how many multiple choice questions and how many short answers. But for the first one, 3 to the negative second, you got to remember your rules. You cannot have a negative exponent. To make it a positive, you would make that 1 over 3 squared. And then you would multiply 3 squared. And you would make that 1/9. Okay, so that's all you do for that first one. Now you're not allowed to have negative exponents. You're not allowed to have 0 exponents. Remember what x to the 0 equals? 1. Equals 1. So not x to the first, but just a whole 1. So this becomes, and now anytime you got a negative exponent, it switches sides. So z to the negative second moves up as z squared. Y to the negative third moves down as y cubed. X to the 0 really becomes a 1, but we don't have to write it. The 5, make sure you don't switch the 5 because it doesn't have anything to do with the negative exponent. The 3 had a negative exponent. The 5 technically has an exponent of 1, but we never write it, unless it's something other than 1. So that would be your answer for the second one. 5 z squared y cubed. All right, you remember the third one here? Quantity squared. You square everything on the inside. Well, the number is going to be 4 to the second power, which is 16. X to what power? Zach, you remember?
It is to the 6.
It is to the 6. You multiply exponents together. So it's x to the 6, and then y to the negative second. You cannot leave a negative exponent. So you just make this 16 x to the 6 over y squared. Okay, 16x to the 6y squared. All right, now I know I just got those 3 examples, so pay attention to these real quick. This is just something I want to hit. You might remember this or not, but if you have x cubed times x to the 4th, you remember what you do there? X cubed times x to the 4th. We add them. That's going to be x to the 7th. So these are kind of the 3 key things. If you have x to the 8th divided by x cubed, what do we do the exponents? Subtract them, which is x to the fifth. And then if we have, and this came up in the last one, x squared to the fifth power, we call that a power to a power. What do we do with the 2 and the 5? We multiply them. It gives me x to the 10th. So I'm not going to go over specific cases of those. I just wanted to review, kind of refresh most of that comes back pretty good. Cannot have any negative exponents. Simplify it when opportunities come up. Adding, subtracting, multiplying polynomials. Came up in chapter 7 as well. With a minus here. Okay, when we are subtracting, this is what we would do. If the first one stays the same, we switch the minus to a plus, and you switch the sign of everything after it. Okay, if it's a plus, you just keep it as it is. All right, now combine like terms. Take a second, think to yourself, what can I combine? Turns out, all right, Tommy, you got 3x squared. What can I combine with that?
Negative 5x.
What's that give me?
Negative 15x squared.
Don't multiply them. Were you trying to sharpen the pencil?
Yeah, I gave up.
You gave it, is it what, not working or?
It's not, it wasn't plugged in.
Okay,
Well,
all right.
Negative 2x squared.
Negative 2x squared. Negative 2x plus negative 9. Remember, they both have the same sign. You add them together to keep the sign. So negative 2 plus negative 9 is going to be negative 11x. And then what's my last one going to be there? 4 plus 5 is going to give you plus 9. You want to keep it in what we call descending order. Okay, and then there's nothing else you can do with that one. So we are done with that. All right, 7x plus 4 quantity squared. For this one, what you got to do is you got to write it as 7x plus 4 times 7x plus 4. And then you got to FOIL it. Okay, 7x plus 4 times 7x plus 4. And when you FOIL it, remember you're going to take the first term, which is 7x, times both terms of the second one. Well, 7x times 7x, make sure that's 49x squared. 7x times 4 is plus 28x. Move over to the 4, multiply it times both. 4 times 7x is plus 28x. 4 times 4 is plus 16. Combining like terms. Grant, what can I combine here?
28x and 28x,
What's that give me?
56x.
Good. So you're going to get 49x squared plus 56x plus 16. Then you're done. That's all you can do on that one. All right, look at that one. See if you can remember what to do.
Yeah, that's right.
See if you remember what to do. Let's see if it. I can't figure this out either. Oh, Here for a second. See if that works. Jay Lee, you remember? No? Yeah, let's just drop the shot. Oh, no. Christiana?
I'm not sure what station you take at 3x times 2x squared.
You take the fish thing, which I don't care if you remember the name, but you gotta take 3x times all three of them. Okay, and then we'll take -4 times all three of them. So 3x times 2x squared, 6x cubed. Cube, make sure you take that x and x squared, make it x cubed.
Are we allowed to use the back?
Oh, the note card?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then 3x times 5x is plus 15x squared. And then 3x times -3 is minus 9x. Once you've multiplied the first term times all three of the second one, you move to the second term, which is -4. And you multiply all three. -4 times 2x squared is minus 8x squared. -4 times positive 5x is minus 20x. And -4 times -3, make sure that's a plus 12. All right, now but look here, once you get that written out, look for your like terms. Okay, look for your like terms. Or Mr. Shiller? Hey.
Well, I was wrong about that.
I kind of figured. Jordan, what do you think for final answer?
6x cubed plus 21x squared.
Well, where'd you get to 21 at? Stop it, Joe. Where'd you get 21 at?
Wait, I added the wrong thing.
That's what I was just checking. What's all right, Sam?
Minus 23x squared.
Yeah, you got plus 15x squared minus 8x squared. What'd you say?
Minus 23x squared.
Dude, what?
Oh my gosh, did I do it wrong?
Grant?
6x cubed plus 7x squared.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I got 7x squared because I got positive 15 and -8. You use the
Well,
same
I
side.
put negative 15.
All right, so just, yeah, but it should be positive. And then what'd you get for the next one?
Minus 29x
Minus 29x. And then what else?
plus 12.
Plus 12. All right, that looks correct there. 6x cubed plus 7x squared minus 29x plus 12. Good. You gotta look for those like terms, and as you can see, it's easy to make just careless mistakes. Doesn't mean you don't know how to do it, you just gotta watch what you're adding together and watch your signs. All right, so we call that the fish. It doesn't really matter what you call it. Yeah, because this is a fish. Right there. But you gotta make sure you get that right answer at the end. Factoring, we spent it felt like a year on factoring. And Christian still doesn't remember how to do it.
Nope.
That's why we review.
Actually, you never really do.
Yeah. And also you gotta watch, you gotta make sure you read the directions. Because it's gonna tell you what it wants you to do. Factoring using the GCF, that's always your first step. What do they have in common?
The GCF is 4x.
Yes, it's the constant that'll go into both, and then also a variable. So 4x. Now, when you are done with a factoring problem, the whole goal is to make it a multiplication problem. So I take out a 4x, and really what you divide is each piece by that 4x. Is really what you're doing. What's 12x cubed divided by 4x, Colin? 3x squared. And then what else do we get, Colin?
1.
You have to put, some people want to just skip that step, but you absolutely have to put a plus 1. So you should get 4x and then 3x squared plus 1. And then that's all you can do with that. You always double check inside the parentheses, see if they have anything in common they don't here. So this one is done.
Okay.
Grouping, I'm telling you what to do. This is where you put the first two terms, and we factor GCF out of the first two terms. Then we take a look at the second two terms, finding GCF there. First two terms, what do you think in that case, Christian?
The first one would be 3x squared.
Good, and make sure you put a squared there. So 3x squared. Now I'm going to go ahead and write it out in parentheses, and I get, when I divide, 6x cubed divided by 3x squared is 2x. 3x squared divided by 3x squared is plus 1. I'm going to pause here a second. Hold on. Take a look at that second one, because this is where I do see mistakes.
You gotta understand the vocabulary here, yeah, like, when we say factor by grouping, a lot of times, we get a blank stare, like, I don't know how to do that one. And then Mr. D-Lap and I, all we do is draw these lines here, and you guys are like, oh yeah, I can do that. Like, you know the process, it's understand what the direction they're telling you to do.
Did you get a hair from me before?
Feels like it.
Right down there.
Fresh fade.
All right, GCF, now here's where I see some mistakes. GCF, Amanda, how about in the second set?
It's -5.
-5, and you gotta make it negative, because we always take the sign of that number. And now, when you write this down, you break down -5, -10x divided by -5, a negative divided by negative, that would be positive 2x, and -5 divided by -5 is plus 1. All right, this step right here is huge. You wanna have the same set of parentheses. So you wanna have a 2x plus 1 and a 2x plus 1 there. Okay, now what you got is, once we have that, we're just one step to go. We put in 2x plus 1, parentheses, 3x squared minus 5. Okay, that's got to be the final answer. The test is if you FOIL this back together, you get the original one. Now, a lot of times, that's if you really want to double check and make sure you got it right, you would do that if you got enough time for that. But that would be the case there, factoring by grouping.
Do you have to write the 2x plus 1 first?
No, you do not have to write the 2x plus 1 first. You could write that as 3x squared minus 5 times 2x plus 1. But the key is it has to have a -5 and then you can't switch the signs. But I understand what you're saying. Okay. All right, any other questions on that? All right. We're going to hand out the practice exam. You need to do all of this on separate pages. So keep this going. So you're going to turn it all in together, piece by piece. And then at the end, I want it all together. I'm going to count this as double assignment. Now, this is one that, all right, from here on out, listen up. I need your attention. We typically